Hello, happy Sunday. I'm happy y'all are here to join me in a webinar all about heat and what to do with heat in the body. And it's super appropriate to talk about heat during this time because it is summer. And um, and we're going to talk about what the heat does to our bodies and how our bodies change and react during the summer months. And that usually plays a big role on our liver and our hormones and our digestion. So those are going to be hot topics tonight. Um, and because I'm in the business of serving people and serving people that show up, I have two friends that showed up live. So I'm going to invite you guys to ask questions and be interactive with this information because the fact that you are here tells me that you want to be present to get the information. And whatever's coming through me for you, it's going to come out. So I invite you to ask questions during the presentation. And for those of you who are watching the recording, you also can ask me questions. As you are watching the recording, like message me, text me if you know me personally, write them down, call me. Because asking questions is how you learn about yourself. And we'll talk about it, but during summer season, your intelligence is at its highest. Your intelligence is at its highest because the gray matter in the brain is activated. So right now is a really good time to focus and receive information. And so my intention for tonight is to inform you. I know we live in a world full of misinformation, so much information that we take all of it in and we end up being misinformed because we really don't know what we should be listening to, what's right for us. And so we're going to talk a lot about the topic of Ayurveda. And Ayurveda is an intuitive medicine. It's an intuitive science. And it teaches you these different practical things that you can do that help you stay in tune with your body. And you do that by staying in tune with nature. And we've deviated so far away from nature and from being able to live in rhythm and in cycle and in season because of the conveniences that we have, right? And all of the other things. So let this be an opportunity to see how you are living in alignment with nature and how you may not be living in alignment with nature. And so my intention is to inform you by connecting those two, like letting you see the nature inside of you and how you express that nature and how the nature outside of you is affecting the nature inside of you. And so I made a presentation for the sake of me not doing that, like going off on random tangents. So I'm going to share my screen and make a presentation. And my cat has started doing this thing where she like knows when I'm engrossed in conversation and she'll jump on the back of my chair and start knocking on the things that make the loudest noise. So if you hear something, it's okay, it's just my cat. Okay, let's do this. Oh, screens. And then we will do this. All right. Secrets for Summer Serenity, Ayurvedic webinar. That's kind of how I feel. I helped a friend out today. He's building a deck outside, and I was only outside for an hour and 30 minutes, and it wrecked me. I was so hot. I even ate a snow cone. I needed something sweet and cold. But hello and welcome. My name is Caitlin Saunier, for those of you who may be watching and don't know me. But I'm totally on a mission to nourish people back to wholeness. And I love to nourish people by giving them information they may not know, by offering them a different perspective that they may not be thinking about, by just giving them a different view and teaching them how to go back to go back home and to find their wholeness from within. But I'm an integrative nutritionist, an intuitive guide, a behavior analyst, and I teach yoga. And I use the timeless science of Ayurveda to serve people. I prefer women. I prefer serving women. I'll serve men too, but usually I'm attracting women. But I serve women in managing their weight, getting quality sleep, and improving their sex life. And when I say sex life, I don't just mean, sex as an intercourse with your partner, but it's your vital energy force that flows through your body. And so it's how you use that energy, how you give that energy, what you're giving it to, that can really deplete you from life. So it's a very important component. But usually I get asked, how did I get here? What's my story? My story is I spent 16 years on medication and suppressing my emotions. So from the age of 5 till about the age of 20, I was on different mood altering medications, from Ritalin to Adderall to Paxil to Zoloft, just suppressing all of my emotions, and so all of that suppression led to inflammation in my body. And I didn't know that all of this inflammation was building up into my body until I got off of the medications and my body was starting to respond to the emotions. And I developed all of these autoimmune diseases, fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis, IBS, like multiple digestive inflammatory diseases and autoimmune diseases. And the doctors wanted to put me back on medication, but I had already committed to myself, like, I don't want to be on drugs. Like, I don't want to be on those anymore. And so I knew that I had to do something different. So I sought a naturopath doctor. I was in Kentucky in a bigger city, so I was surrounded by a bunch of different holistic options. And the naturopath doctor helped me see that it was food that I was putting into my body that was causing all of these inflammatory diseases. And then later, I had a tragic emotional experience in my life. And then I realized, wow, like I really don't know how to process emotions. And all of these unprocessed emotions have been causing so much dis-ease in my body. And so one of my therapists and my friends recommended me to yoga, and I started yoga, and practicing yoga brought me to want to learn more, learn the science deeper, because that's how I am. I love something and I want to learn it. Even in my relationships, like if I love you, I want to learn you. I want to know everything about you. And so that's what I did. I studied yoga, and then through yoga, I studied Ayurveda, and I just like went off the cliff with Ayurveda because I started working with an Ayurveda practitioner who was my yoga teacher, and she started teaching me about all the principles and the practices of Ayurveda and gave me all these things to do, and it improved my life drastically. Like I had more energy than I ever had. The fatigue was gone. The last bit of stomach burn, my face started to clear up. And so I did it. I did it for a while. And then I met a boy and we got married, and I didn't care about myself anymore. I just wanted to, do whatever he needed. And I quit everything, and then I got sick again. So I know when I'm out of balance, I feel the symptoms of fibromyalgia. I'll feel the symptoms of chronic inflammation in my gut. And I know it's because I've deviated so far away from what keeps me in ease. And so I go back to my practitioner, and she's like, well, like, what are you still doing? Like, where are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm really not doing anything. And she's like, well, I mean, let's get back on that. But she invited me to train with her husband, who was moving back from India and opening up a satellite school there. And so I just trained with him and watched their lives and learned from him and his teachings that he was giving. And I was hooked. So I went and I studied it, and now I'm still studying it, still practicing it, still implementing it into my life. And I just want to give people the information that Ayurveda says, because it's ancient and it's old and it's tried and it's true and it's still proven its benefits. Like both of you have been practicing it for a while, and I'm sure you both can attest for it. Like if there's anything you want to say about Ayurveda, like I want to hear it. I invite you to unmic.
Yeah, it's been so great like to learn at just a holistic level. It's so broad
Mm-hmm.
as far as, all the different facets that you mentioned and just having trusting it and it's not like a one size fits all. It's more understanding our own genetic or what is our dosha, which you'll probably talk about later, but
Yeah.
what is it about our own selves that we need to know and understand. And then the thing I liked is that at the very beginning I remember saying, oh, can I have this, can I have that, and you said pay attention to how you feel when you have it. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like a I can have this or I can have that. It's more like how do you feel.
Yeah.
So it's being in tune, like when you say like in ease or even in tune with your body and understanding how it affects you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that reflection. Thank you.
I'll go.
Okay.
Okay, so I've been practicing it for a little over a year now, and I know enough now that when I get out of balance, I know what to do to bring myself back into balance. And
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Caitlin this earlier, sometimes I forget and I don't do the practices, but as soon as I get back to the practices, I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the mental clarity and the energy, and I sleep better, and my digestion is good, and all the things that happen. And not only am I learning myself and my energy, but I feel like I understand the world as a whole
Yeah.
better because of Ayurveda. And I think it's this magical system that everybody should at least try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for that reflection. Yes. Yes. That's kind of how I feel too. It's like I understand like the magic of the world, the mystery that we live in. I'm like, oh well, you just watch nature and it kind of gives you its patterns. Like everything's a pattern, when you think of like geometric figures, like the flower of life and all that, like everything is a pattern. So a little bit of history about Ayurveda. It's a Sanskrit word. Sanskrit is what they spoke in ancient India at this time, Indus Valley region, and it translates to the science of life. And Ayurveda is an ancient science that dates back 5,000 plus years ago. And like I said, in India in the Indus Valley region. And its design is to inspire and to heal and uplift the people of the planet. To inspire, to heal, and to uplift the people of the planet. And I mean, I can say that's what I feel like it has done for me. Like it has brought me to a place of alignment where when I am in alignment, like I am inspired and I feel like I'm in ease, so I'll use the word ease instead of heal. And then it's like I have the energy, to go forth and serve in the ways that I'm supposed to serve. So I can attest for that. It's the study of life within you, how the life is organized within you, and also how it interacts with the life around you. And when I say the life around you, that's like the life that you live with in your home, the life that you dwell with in your community, the life that you consume through the food that you eat, through the thoughts that you think, through the things that you hear, like whatever you surround yourself with. Like, how does the life within you, how is that affected by the life outside of you? And Ayurveda is like the study of that. So it was perfect for me. I just love to study people and how they interact and change. It's preventative medicine, and it's rooted in diet, herbs, lifestyle practices, and habits. And it's at the root of all holistic modalities that you hear of now, like herbology, essential oils, Chinese medicine. Like Ayurveda is the root of all of that. And so it's funny, like I talk to people now and they're like, yeah, I'm doing this new diet where you like you follow the sun and you eat with the sun. Like as soon as the sun comes up, you eat. And you eat your last meal before the sun goes down. And you eat your biggest meal when the sun's at the highest. And I'm like, whoa, that's Ayurveda. Like there's a diet off of that now. I'm like, this is cool. So I just like to remind people of where, this wisdom comes from, like these new age diets, like where this wisdom actually comes from. And but also to connect and remind you of the the beauty and the sacredness in feeding your body, right? It's a relationship. And yeah, I'll stop there because I'll go down a rabbit hole. But anyway, it explains the causes of disease. So it explains like you are in dis-ease and this is why. It explains the symptoms of imbalance. Your hormones are out of balance, your liver enzymes are high, like this is why. And then it also explains the unique body types, which we'll talk about, and those are called the doshas. And it's like you're predisposed to be this way because of your arrangement of the elements. Like this is why. And then so it tells you all the reasons why, and then it also tells you ways to achieve mental clarity, ways to achieve mental health, ways to achieve well-being. And the cool thing about it is you're probably already practicing Ayurveda and you may not even know it. I know you two are. But if this is the first time you have ever heard of Ayurveda and you use essential oils in any way, shape, or form, that's an Ayurvedic practice. If you drink herbal tea, that's an Ayurvedic practice. If you spice your food with herbs, that's an Ayurvedic practice essentially. Changing your diet during the seasons, right? That's Ayurvedic practice. And so Ayurveda is a lifelong practice. It's a huge learning, and it's designed for you to continue learning through your entire life, because the way that you learn about the world around you and the way that you learn the codes and the secrets of the universe is by exploring and experiencing yourself. And so Ayurveda gives you all the tools that you need to stay focused. Okay. The mission of Ayurveda. I think this is my mission through Ayurveda because I kind of made this up, but Caitlin's mission through Ayurveda is to empower, to uplift, to heal, and to align. And to empower you by connecting you with your body's own innate wisdom. Because we live in a world where we are conditioned to believe that other people have the information that we need to live a better life, to live a healthier life, to live a more aligned life. And Ayurveda is like, well, no, you have all of the information. Sometimes you just need to give that information to somebody so they can help you see it, right? But you have all of that information that you need. You just don't know it yet. To uplift, to let you know that you are not the body and you are not the mind, like you are so much more than that. Ayurveda is based on a philosophical teaching that we are direct images, direct reflections of God. There's a lot of religions based off of that. Ayurveda is not a religion, but that is the belief. Like we are a direct reflection of God, so we should tend to ourselves and take care of ourselves as one, right? And if you don't know how to do that, here's how. The other two missions is to heal and to align. To heal, like your body knows how to heal itself when you consistently provide the environment that it needs. So your body is a self-healing mechanism, and it knows what to do. It knows how to regenerate its cells. It knows how to get rid of what it needs. We eat, we take in something, it digests it, and then we poop it out. Like the body knows what to do. But there's times when the body's like, I really don't know what to do because you're giving me all of this stuff that doesn't make sense to me. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put it aside because I really don't know what this is, right? I don't know how to sort this. And so it teaches you how to keep your environment of your body a clean vessel so that the information can just keep flowing and it can do its thing of naturally healing itself. And then to align, to bring awareness to how you are meant to uniquely be living life. I can tell you that I find myself in a lot of patterns and ruts and doing things and following these habits that my family has, and that I've watched my family do. And I eat because my family has eaten them, right? And so this is Ayurveda is a practice of really stepping back and questioning, why do I do these things? And do I really need to do these things? Are they beneficial for me? So it can align you with what you need. So Ayurveda, it's vast and it's expansive, but there's a cornerstone and a thread to it. And the cornerstone is that everything in nature is created from the 5 natural elements. 5 natural elements. And each element represents a different component of your physical and mental body. And we're all born with these 5 elements, but they're organized in a beautiful, specific way for you. And based on the way those elements are organized is like your blueprint. Like Lisa was talking about, it's like it's my dosha and I need to do this because of my blueprint, right? And it gets a little trickier, you know, I'll just kind of throw this here, like your blueprint is affected by the environment, the changes in the seasons, the times of the day, the times of your life, the astrological alignment, if you want to go there too. Like your blueprint is changed and manipulated because we live here on Earth, right? We live here on Earth and we're here to experience all of that. And so the 5 basic elements is space or ether. And that is like the vast openness, it's the void, it's the all-knowing, right? That's where all life started, was from the ether. And then it moves to air, and air is wind, it's the lightness, it's the feathery fluidity. And then fire is hot and transformative. Water is fluid and cool, and earth is dense and grounding. So we have all of those elements, but we also have the qualities of those elements. Like think of fire and all the words that you would use to describe fire. Like those are qualities. You know, think of like what earth feels like and the dirt feels like when you touch it. Like those are the qualities of those elements. So those 5 elements and those qualities make up the 3 doshas. They're the energy types. And there's vata, there's pitta, and there's kapha. Vata is air and ether, pitta is fire and water, and kapha is earth and water. But for the sake of today, we're going to focus on just the elements and more of the fire and water, the pitta dosha, because it's related to heat. Nature and the elements. So we are extensions of nature through the 5 elements, right? As the seasons change, so should we. But because of modern conveniences, because of air conditioning, because of lights, because of all the things, we don't. As the time changes throughout the day, and the time as the sun shifts through the sky, we should too. We should be following the cyclical rhythm of the earth. But because of all the reasons why and all of the evolutions, and just because of our sheer intelligence of humans, like we don't have to, right? So when the seasons change, we can be pulled out of balance depending on our elemental makeup, right? So if you have a lot of fire and water in your body, all the symptoms that I'm going to be talking about today, you're probably going to be like, oh yeah, that's me all the way. If you don't have a lot of fire and water in your body, you're going to be experiencing some of them because that's the nature of the season, but you may not be like thrown over the edge with them. Like you're tolerating them just fine. I'm getting to the point where I'm just about done. You know, because I don't have a lot of fire in me, but I'm feeling it, you know, so I'm having a lot of these symptoms. But each season has a different expression of the elements, right? So winter is the expression of water and air at its fullest. Yeah, it's expressing all of the other elements, but it has water and air at its fullest. Spring expresses earth and water, like things are starting to grow and sprout and there's light coming back in. So it's earth and water, there's a lot of nourishment. Summer is fire and water, especially if you're in South Louisiana, like you're experiencing a lot of fire and water right now, like the humidity and the pressure and like the suffocation of it. Like you can't get enough hydration. Like everybody's just thirsty. And then fall. Fall is the expression of air and ether. So as the winds of fall start to usher in, the thirst is going to like finally be quenched. And we're going to feel a little lighter. Okay, so how hot does summer make you? So summer makes everybody feel differently. Like my friend next door, I smelled some fire today and I was like, oh, I'm so ready for fall. And she's like, no, I need more summer. Like she loves it, right? So how hot does summer make you? So I'm fixing to go to the next slide and you're gonna do a little tally system. So you're gonna check all the boxes that you feel you can relate to, and then you're going to count them. And the higher your score is, the more heat you have in your body. So it's kind of like a little quiz. And if you're familiar with Ayurveda, like this will tell you how pitta you are. You might be way pitta, you might be not so much, but and then so after you get your results, we're gonna start talking about what excess heat can cause in the body and how lifestyle practices and food practices can pacify the excess heat in your body. So here you go. So you can just put a tally, like if athletic build is one, just put a mark on your paper. If light colored eyes is one, just put a mark and just keep like a tally of all of them. Lisa said she got a 9. So there's 25 of them. Lisa, do you feel like more of your, Darcy said a 6, do you feel like more of your check marks came from one of the columns?
Yeah, the mental attributes.
Mental attributes.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that for you.
Yep.
What about you, Darcy?
The biological ones. Like I had, I think, 1 or 2 in physical, and then the rest were in biological.
Yeah. So the biological ones represent the current state. So in summer, like these are typical things that you're going to feel.
Mm-hmm.
If you had more in like the mental and the physical, then that's like your natural state.
Okay.
Like that's just kind of parts of who you are. And Lisa's mind is totally pitta. Like she's like super focused and like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, so how summer shows up in the body. So summer is associated with pitta dosha. Pitta is made of fire and water. It regulates digestion, the liver, and hormone functions. So all of the glands that are associated with hormone production and hormone function is associated with pitta dosha. During summer, we experience some common symptoms due to all of the excess heat, but that accumulates in our liver and the glands that regulate our hormones. Some people are going to experience these symptoms all of the time because of the amount of heat that they naturally carry in their body or their minds. And so these symptoms that you may be experiencing now are heartburn, acid reflux, indigestion, sour stomach, hormonal imbalances, acne, skin rashes, inflammation of the joints, inflammation of the skin, anger, rage, that feeling of like hanger, like you can't really satisfy your hunger and you're just kind of angry and frustrated because just nothing is satisfying. Hot flashes, frustration, like those are common symptoms of the summer. But some people will experience them quite often, whether that's the mental or the physical. So when it comes to pacifying the heat, there are the two most important things. Really, when it comes to pacifying anything in Ayurveda, like these are the two most important things, is diet and honoring the biological clock, honoring our circadian rhythm. I've been getting so many questions about cortisol. Like, what's the best way to regulate my cortisol? Don't eat past 7 o'clock and be in bed by 10. Don't drink coffee on an empty stomach. Do those 3 things and watch stress melt away from your body, right? So the science of Ayurveda uses food, herbs, and daily lifestyle practices in bringing balance to the body and the mind. So it uses all of these things that you would naturally do every day. Every day. You don't have to go to the store and get these different kind of pills, and you don't have to do this specific exercise 50,000 times. Like it's just things that you would naturally do every day to live your life as a human. Understanding that food is information. The food that you eat is informing your cells on what to do. So what is your food telling your body? If you're eating a diet of processed foods that have been made in a lab and have never seen the sun, like what is that information telling your body and your cells? Does your body even know what to do with that? I don't know. I doubt it, because of the way it makes me feel when I eat it. Do I eat it? Yeah, because I need the reminder of why I don't every day. And then also understanding that there is a natural rhythm to the day. And are you in tune with it? So are you sleeping when the sun is up? Are you awake when the sun goes down? I know, there's life and this, that, and the other. And I mean, I'm not, in the winter months, like I'm not going to bed at 6 o'clock, but I watch my activities and what I'm doing, right? My energy is going down if the sun is going down. My energy is going up if the sun is going up. So when it comes to food, this is some information that you do not need in the summer. You don't need the information that caffeine and alcohol give to the body. Caffeine and alcohol will also increase cortisol if you're listening, and cortisol is one of those things that you're dealing with. Caffeine and alcohol. Quit those two and see what happens to the body. It's incredible. I just did a 21-day challenge. I co-led it with one of my friends, and caffeine and alcohol was one that was recommended to give up. And the people that did were just like, wow. Some people just gave up those two alone, right? And they were just like, whoa. It's something we give up on our cleanse, because it's so important to see who you are without caffeine and alcohol. Some information that you do not need is the information that nightshade vegetables give to the body. Nightshades are tomatoes, white potatoes, garlic, onion, peppers, and eggplant. And then I usually get a lot of rebuttal on this one, because people are like, well, garlic and onions are like really medicinal. They are. They are very medicinal, but they're medicinal, right? And something that we do here in the West is whenever we find out something is good for us, we use so much of it that it's not good for us anymore, because it accumulates in the body. Like excess will accumulate in the body. Like there's excess heat right now, and it's accumulating in our liver and our hormonal glands and causing disruption. Like when there's excess, that will cause accumulation. Excess sugar. I ate a snow cone today. Sugar's not bad, but I haven't eaten sugar in 21 days, right? So I'm really gonna feel it because it's been out. But excess sugar, I probably won't eat it for a while. Red meat and pork. The information of red meat and pork is very heavy. It's very dense. It's very moist. We need more dry and light foods right now. So we don't need the information from red meat and pork. We don't need the information that fermented foods and beverages are giving us. Yes, fermented foods are very, very high in probiotics, and they're good for the body, but you don't need a lot of them right now because it causes souring to happen, and they're very, very hot. And spicy foods and herbs such as cayenne peppers and chili powders and things of that nature, curries, you don't need a lot of information from that right now either, because that's the information of heat. Information that you do need in the summer, and that is the information of things that are cooling and hydrating and sweet and bitter and astringent and mild. So summer is associated with heat and intensity and focus and transformation. So to create the balance in the body, we need foods that offer the opposite qualities. We need foods that are like melons. So those fresh fruits and vegetables like apples and berries, and the stone fruits, the apples, the apricots, the pears, the peaches, the plums, and the root vegetables, the dark leafy greens. Those summer herbs like mint, basil, fennel, cardamom, coriander, and the sweet grains like rice. Eat your rice and your quinoa. Oats are sweet too. Oats are very wet and very heavy, so that doesn't help with like the water content that we have going on in the summer, excess water, and it sticks more than like water would from melon, right? Because it's just really sticky and heavy. So that's why I don't have oats in here, but if you're eating oats, that's fine too. Chia seeds are really good right now. Lentils and beans. Lentils and beans have a very drying effect to the body. So any excess moisture that's going on, causing that suffocation that you may be feeling, it helps out a lot. Seeds such as pumpkins and chia seeds. Coconut in all forms, coconut meat, coconut water, coconut oil, coconut. Put it on your skin, put it in your mouth. If your eyes are really red and dry and just like drenched, mine were so red and hot. I'm like, oh, my eye sockets are hot. So I just like rubbed coconut oil all over them. Favor limes over lemons. Lemons have more of a heating quality than limes. And try not to eat excess citrus during the summer. So here are some herbs. If you like to use herbs and make your own teas and things, these are some herbs that will pacify the heat in the body. Hibiscus and rose are really good flower essences. That's good for the summer. Rosemary, basil, mint to make some teas, but fennel. Fennel is good in a tea. There's an Ayurvedic blend called CCFT. It's cumin, coriander, and fennel. Cumin is a little tiny bit warming, so I'll take the fennel and the coriander and I'll make a tea out of it, and that's really good too. It's really good on the gut. Aloe vera. Aloe vera is great at taking heat out of the digestive system. So if you're experiencing a lot of diarrhea right now, or a lot of like you feel heat in the belly after you eat, those three herbs at the top, also mint, will help with that fiery feeling in the gut. Turmeric is going to be really good to use if you have a lot of inflammation in the joints. And you don't have to go and buy capsules of it at the store. Just apply a little bit to your food. I made a shake this morning with this cacao and some coconut milk powder and some milk, and I put a tiny bit of turmeric in it, and that helped. Fresh ginger, not the dry ginger. Dry ginger is really hot, but fresh ginger in small amounts. Shatavari is an Ayurvedic herb that's really good for hormonal support and digestive health. Amla is another really good one. It's found in the Ayurvedic supplement if you've ever heard of it. Chaiwan Prash, which is like a jam. Amla is really high in vitamin C. Neem is really good for skin rashes or for heat in the digestive system. And Brahmi is really good to calm the heat in the mind. If you're becoming overheated in the head, overheated with the thoughts, not able to like really pacify the rage in the mind or the frustration, Brahmi helps with that. So that was the food part. Then the last thing, I think it's the last thing, that you should do and consider is syncing up with the rhythm of nature. So what I have an image of here is the Ayurvedic clock. It's down to a science. Like if you really pay attention to this clock, like it's just like mind-blowing that this is even something to live by. It's beautiful. But anyway, so when it comes to syncing up with the rhythm of nature, what I suggest, not paying attention to the clock, that's just where this information comes from, is to wake up at the same time every day. Pick a time. Ayurveda would say before 6 o'clock, but you choose. Pick a time and wake up the same time every day. Create consistency for yourself. When you create consistency, the body becomes predictable. Spend time with yourself upon waking up and before going to bed. So just kind of check in with yourself. Tell yourself hello, like, oh, hey, body, like, what's going on? Start building a relationship with your energy, right? Just like you would, if you have a partner, like we have this desire to check in with our partners. Like, how are you? So just kind of honor that for yourself and do that for yourself. Like, how are you? What do you need? What can I do for you today? Drink warm or room temperature water before anything. You can put lemon in it or lime in it if you want to, but you don't have to. Just drink room temperature or warm water. There's also an Ayurvedic practice called copper water, and you take a copper water cup and you fill it up with water before you go to bed, and you leave it out room temperature, and it absorbs all the minerals from the copper, and then you drink it first thing in the morning. It's copper water. It's really good to remineralize the body and get your dose of copper. I see a lot of people carrying around copper water bottles, and that's good. That's beneficial, but it could be excess. Like, you may not need that much copper in your system. Have a light breakfast before your coffee. So put something in your belly before you have your coffee. That causes a huge dysregulation when it comes to your hormones. That also really intensifies and shocks the liver. It's almost like taking lighter fluid and squirting it all over fire, and that's what kind of happens in your body. It's just like woof. And if you don't have any food in your stomach, then like all of that acid from your liver is like ushered into your stomach, and it's just like, it's fire, so much fire. So eat something before you have your coffee. I'm not saying not to have coffee, but eat something before your coffee. Do your sweating in the morning before 10 o'clock. You need to sweat during that really heavy, dense, sleepy time of the day. It stimulates your digestive fire, it gets your metabolism going, wakes you up. Eat 3 meals a day around the same times. A lot of people ask me about fasting, right? And Ayurveda says, well, if you follow the Ayurvedic clock and you don't eat past 7 o'clock and you don't have breakfast until like 8, then that's a pretty substantial fast right there. So have 3 meals a day is what Ayurveda says. Of course, you know what you need, you know it works. Have your biggest meal at lunchtime and eat your last meal before 7. And then big kicker here is be in bed by 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, your liver starts to cleanse. And if you are taking in information, whether that's from a television show, scrolling on your phone, or your body is still taking in information and digesting a meal you ate an hour ago, or the snack you just had before you went to bed, then your liver, your body is not focused on allowing your liver to digest, and your liver to process, and your liver to cleanse. And whenever you have excess heat built up in the liver, that's what leads to anger, to rage, to frustration, to the digestive issues that you have, because your liver doesn't know when it should be sending digestive enzymes and when it should not. It's constantly on because it doesn't have time to stop and regulate itself. Same with the gallbladder. Yeah. And whenever you're not in sync with the rhythm of nature, your hormones are on the circadian rhythm of the clock. Your hormones want to follow nature. So if you are having hormonal issues, get with me about building a lifestyle based on this clock, or just do these few things and see how your hormones shift and change. Because your hormones want to be linked up. We all follow the biological clock of circadian rhythm. And that's the first thing to address whenever you have hormonal issues. Yes, there's herbs. Yes, there's diet plans and all these things that you can do, seed cycling for hormones. But if you're not following the clock, you are going against nature. And your nature is going to be out of whack because you're swimming upstream. So, to get more information, follow me on social media. I also have a YouTube, which I don't have listed here. I've got Facebook. I have Instagram. If you want to find out what your dosha is, what your actual type is, not just how much heat you have in your body, you can scan this one in the middle for the dosha quiz. And then it'll give you a bunch of information more on each dosha. And if you need help, in liver support because you just got labs back and they're showing a lot of liver issues, or your hormones are dysregulated, or you're not sleeping, or your sex drive is really low, or your digestive system is shot, like, book an Ayurvedic assessment and I'll help you out. I'll give you some herbs. I'll give you a lifestyle to follow. Like, I'll give you the blueprint that you need according to Ayurveda and your dosha. And then I can help you implement it if you want. But you get 20% off today for being here. And for watching the replay, you get 20% off using the code discount. So I hope this gave you some inspiration to just look at things differently, to like take a look at your life and what information you are basing your life on. And if there is any information that you can take away from today's call that can be different and maybe create a shift for you. So that is all I have for you today. I look forward to seeing from you, hearing from you. I'd love to hear your feedback or your questions that came up for you during this presentation. Any inspirations or anything, like just reach out. Like I just want to give information and I want to connect over this topic because I love it. I love it. Thank you, Darcy and Lisa, for being here.
Thank you for having us. It's been great. I highly recommend little plug for Caitlin. I finished the 6-month program and I highly recommend working with Caitlin on this. It was extremely impactful for me and she has so much wisdom to share. So
Thank you.
definitely worth your time.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me in and like studying you. It's been fun. It's been fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
All right.
Have a great night.
Stop the recording.